Everyone always says that there's nothing more expensive than a cheap BMW. But is it always true? Take yourself back 22 years to 1997 when this BMW 740iL first came off the showroom floor. The original owner paid $70,000 for this thing, which is over $110,000 in today's money, for the finest near top of the line BMW available at the time. They must have felt like a complete badass. Fast forward to today. Now I own this very, very used BMW 7 Series. But somehow, just somehow, this car has proven to me that a cheap BMW can be reliable. I don't know how it's possible, but this car has been reliable for me. I purchased this vehicle in June of last year for $2,500, and since then I've driven it nearly 5,000 trouble-free miles. It's been on road trips, I've driven it around town without any issues. The 4.4-liter V8 still sounds lovely and purrs like it should. The ride is still very luxurious for a 22-year-old car. Mechanically, all I've done is replace a sensor in order to get the thing to pass emissions. That's all. How is this even possible? Everybody makes it sound like the moment you lay eyes on an old 7 Series, it'll just immediately explode. I will say this car's reliability doesn't make any sense to me, but all I can say is that maybe the previous owner took pretty good care of the thing. That isn't to say there's nothing wrong with this car. Oh, there are things wrong with this car indeed, but just nothing mechanical. The car runs and drives and stops and handles and brakes just like it should. But there are a lot of little interior trim pieces that have fallen apart, that kind of thing. A lot of little details that kind of make it a little bit janky.
This is an incredibly common problem with these cars. Cup holders always break. You know, ashtray doesn't close. This is actually also a very common problem. I just haven't got around to fixing it. It's actually an easy fix. I just haven't done it yet, but glove box won't open. The whole lock mechanism kind of fell apart. Who knows? There could be some treasures inside there. I haven't opened it. I don't know what's in there. This is also kind of a disaster right here. This is where the car phone should go. Obviously somebody has removed the car phone and they placed this custom leather piece right on top of here. This is not original. So if you kind of look under here, you can see how they did an absolute awful job gluing this to that. So, well, why don't we just take it off? Yeah, there we go. Let's just take this whole thing off. What is up with that? This is just garbage.
The leather is still mostly free from rips. Might need a little bit of leather conditioner to bring it back to life. It still has the factory footrest, which is pretty cool.
When I first purchased this car, the display pixels in the dash were completely messed up. You could barely read anything. But somehow, over the course of owning the car for 8 months, they've decided to resurrect themselves. Yes, my 22-year-old BMW 7 Series is capable of fixing itself. There are a couple small problems with the exterior, but nothing major. It needs new window seals right up here. Those are really, really easy to replace. It does leak a little bit. Anytime I take the car to a car wash, I get a little bit wet. And then obviously here's another thing, very, very super common problem. These kidney grills pop out.
I originally had BBS RS2 wheels on the car, and they were worth almost as much as the entire 7 Series is worth. So I went ahead and sold them separately to try to recoup some of the cost of the car. So now the car has these slightly uninspiring, slightly newer BMW wheels that, yeah, they look fine. They look fine, but it does have some brand new Falcon tires on it, which I'm very happy about because the old tires I had were a little toasted because of something maybe I did. But now I'm not really sure what I want to do with this car. I've actually been thinking I might sell it. I know, I'm not that smart. I actually have a reliable 7 Series here. It's a unicorn. Why would I sell a reliable 7 Series? Well, you know, I haven't fallen in love with this vehicle. Don't get me wrong, the BMW E38, in my opinion, is one of the best looking BMW designs ever. And this car, 22 years later, still provides a luxurious experience every time I step inside it. But I've just never really connected with this vehicle. I really do think this car needs to go to somebody that just is an E38 fanatic and absolutely loves these things. So yeah, I gotta do something with this car, but I don't think it's gonna be staying in my fleet much longer. This old 90s luxury car, like most old 90s luxury cars with high miles, has depreciated to the point where it's essentially worthless. I actually already listed this car for sale online just to gauge interest, and at $3,000 there's absolutely no interest, so I lowered the price to $2,500, and at $2,500 there's absolutely no interest, so I lowered the price to $2,000, and you guessed it, at $2,000 there's absolutely no interest in this car. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do is just maybe list it for $1,500 and cry a little bit as the new owner takes the keys. Since I haven't really bonded with the car, I haven't bothered fixing things like the broken cup holder and the center console that's still a disaster, I think this car needs to go to somebody who truly adores E38s and is willing to give it the TLC that it deserves. But I'm guessing that most people, even diehard BMW fans, would be pretty afraid of buying an old, cheap, high mileage BMW, especially a 7 Series. This car could just go and explode tomorrow. The plastic timing chain guides could break and lodge themselves in the engine, or the cooling system could blow up, but it hasn't happened yet. This car has been good to me. This old 740iL has shown me that occasionally, just occasionally, you can luck out with an old, cheap, high mileage BMW. What would you do if you were in my position? Would you go and sell this car? Or would you do some crazy modifications like a manual transmission swap? Here's an interesting idea. What if I gave away this car to one of you, Hello Road viewers? Then you could experience the luxury that this 740iL has to offer. Is that a terrible idea? So what do you think I should do? Let me know in the comments below. If you've been enjoying my videos, thanks so much for watching. And if you're new here, if you like what you see, please consider subscribing. Also, kind of big news, coming soon, the Hello Road podcast. If you've been enjoying this channel where I discover interesting places in unique vehicles, then you're probably gonna feel right at home with the podcast as well. My friend Paul, who drives a Daihatsu, yes, a Daihatsu, will be joining me each week as we discuss forgotten cars, hidden local places of interest, and our recent automotive adventures. It'll be available any place you can normally find podcasts, but you can also go to helloroad.tv/podcast to get links to all the places that you'll be able to listen to it when it comes out next week. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.